Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures that Outperform. I'm Frank Wander. I'm the CEO of People Productive, and I'm here with my absolutely wonderful co host, Terri Mays, who happens to be a certified culture engineer. If you've been tuning in, you know we've been covering different human factors of leadership, looking at different science experiments, and all sorts of stuff that's extremely valuable if you want to lead in an era where people are the most important tool in every company. So we're starting a new series today, 7 ways to motivate workers without spending money. And we're going to be looking at achievement. How does achievement play into this? Achievement is a great way to actually get somebody to feel really good about what they're doing. Maybe you can put up the quote, Marcelo. We should just maybe start with that, Tara. What do you think?
Yeah,
Happiness does not come from doing easy work, but from the afterglow of satisfaction that comes after the achievement of a difficult task that demanded our best. I think this guy Rubin, Theodore Isaac Rubin, absolutely nailed it. It really is true. People feel great when they've overcome something. That sense of achievement. You've been given a challenge, you conquered it, you get this sense of achievement. It just really makes you feel so much better. And that's motivating. People want more of that because that's a dopaminergic rush that they get from having, conquered something and having done it in front of their peers and their boss and all the other people. It's just a great feeling. It's like winning a race almost. And so
yeah,
achievement itself is a hugely important human need when you're looking to motivate people in the workplace. You
it
don't want to
is
just
so
doing
true.
routine stuff, right, Tara?
Yeah, it's so true. It's one of those basic needs. We've talked about this Maslow hierarchy of needs before, but it's a
Mhm.
very basic human need. It's not something, people are not robots or machines in the workplace. We've really come away from that age where people just show up to work, they're expected to do their job and then go home. That there has to be more motivation than that. The paycheck is not enough to motivate people. You don't even want workers that are just simply there for a paycheck. You want
Right.
people that are there that feel connected to the work that they're doing, that feel like what they're doing is making a difference, and that somebody truly appreciates what they're doing. And when that happens, there is almost a magic in the air. People are creative, they're very lighthearted, they're open to do things. I can remember several times I was on teams where people would work late and come in early because they felt like what they were doing mattered and somebody cared, that they were appreciated. They had those basic needs met. And so there are times when you need people to go the extra mile, but they won't if they don't feel like it matters, if they don't
Mhm.
feel like it's, worth it, if there's nothing in it for them. And that, having something in it for me, philosophy doesn't always mean money. It's not always just about spending a lot of money for programs and trinkets and, gifts.
Yeah. Hey, here's your iPad.
Yes, those are nice things. I'm not saying don't buy gifts, but that's not the only thing that motivates people. So you have to be careful. There's a fine line between constantly spending money on these different programs and actually meeting those human basic needs. And that happens by just open the door through caring to show people that you care.
Yeah, and the whole notion of giving people gifts and recognition. Yeah, sure, people appreciate it. But when you start giving out a lot of iPads to different people who achieve stuff, it starts to lose its meaning. If you want to wow them, you've got to up the ante. And that is really, really difficult. Those are extrinsic motivators. Money's an extrinsic motivator. It's coming from outside you. We're talking about 7 ways to motivate people without spending money. And we'll be looking at influence. We will be looking at recognition, different things that humans crave and desire that are going to give you the ability to motivate people. Achievement is a big one. You can look at a Harvard research study called the Progress Principle. It's by Teresa Mabile, and it's about these small achievement steps along the way. Even that's motivating, makes people feel good. And the big achievement is that glow that people have where they really pulled something off. And as they're working on it, those little steps give them just more motivation because they're getting closer to achieving their goal. They're overcoming some hurdles and challenges. And so you as a leader really want to think about how every person can be challenged so they create or can experience this sense of achievement. If you have people just doing rote work every day, loses its sense of achievement, right? They're just
That's right.
pushing the stone up the hill. Basically, it's not going to be a big achievement.
Right. And you definitely want to make sure you're, as a leader, removing those obstacles. Because if people are spending all their time fighting battles, then they have no energy to do the real work that needs to be done. So make
Mhm.
sure you're doing that to keep that sense of achievement and fulfillment high. You also have to recognize when people have either too much work or too little work when they're trying to accomplish a goal. Everybody has to do their part, but you have to make sure that the amount of work is well balanced. Just knowing myself, learning more about myself, I've
Mhm.
been trying to set the goal of drinking those 8 ounces of or 8 glasses of water that I should have, so 64
Uh,
ounces in a day. And what I discovered, so I
I
went
got
out and
mine here.
bought one of those big giant water bottles that holds the
Mhm.
64 ounces that motivates you throughout the day. What I figured out is it's actually not very motivating for me because I need the sense of completion. So it works better for me if I get, 8-ounce glass or 16-ounce glass and I finish it. And when I finish it, I feel like, oh, I did something. I really accomplished something. And it motivates me to want to drink another. But every time that I fill that thing up in the morning, by the afternoon, it's only like halfway gone. And I'm just looking at it like, oh my God, there's so much more water left to drink.
Yeah.
But, humans are wired that way. Some of us need the big glass, some of us need the big water jug. So you just have to figure out what makes people tick and what motivates your people, because what motivates one person won't necessarily motivate the next. So you really do have to pay attention. If you want to bring out the best in people, you have to spend time with them and make sure you have some really healthy relationships with people in the workplace, so that now it's not just about, what can I get out of the people, but how can I empower them? How can I uplift them? How can I make them feel like the work that they're doing is so incredibly valuable and that we could not do what we do without them? People need to know that. They need to hear that. They need to feel that from their leaders.
And that creates more of a sense of achievement when they understand that it's really important. And you want to make sure that they, understand how important it is, because it is very important. I loved Terry's comment on the water bottle, and the 64 ounces of water created no sense of achievement as she was drinking during the day. And if you go back to an episode we did on motivation, we were talking about Dan Ariely's experiment. This was back in the middle of April, where they had people build these bionicles made of Legos. I don't know exactly what they look like. I don't recall, but they pay them $3 for the first one. And they had two different groups of people. The first group, they built the bionicle, they gave it to them, they kept it intact, and they put it under their desk in a box. The researchers. The person saw that and they got paid the $3. The next one they got paid $2.70 and the price came down. Well, they built 11 of them on average, following that methodology. In the next experiment, when the person built the bionicle and gave it to them, they basically broke it down in front of them right away and then put the pieces away. So there was just much less of a sense of achievement. Those people only built 7. They just couldn't go on. There was nothing there. It was like you took 2 ounces of water, this whole jug is still there. So she's right.
Yes.
Achievement is driven by a lot of little things that go on, certainly very important things that are important. But I think that research experiment that Dan Ariely did, and you can watch a YouTube video, it's really very telling. This gives you some insight into creating a sense of achievement. And that's why you want people to understand that what they did was important and that you thank them for it, even, right? That creates that sense of achievement.
Yes,
And
you
so,
definitely want to have that sense of achievement, and you also want to make sure that people's self-esteem is built, because sometimes as you're doing things at work, you're not really sure if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing it well. So to have somebody looking at your work and not just critiquing, it's easy to look at somebody's work and find a flaw, or to say, no, you shouldn't do that, or this is wrong. But to also let them know, hey, you're doing a great job with this. This may be a very difficult task or other people have tried and failed, but you are doing extremely well with this task. People need to know that. They need to hear that so that their self-esteem is built and they feel like, hey, I'm accomplishing something. I feel good about myself because others are
Mhm.
recognizing what I'm doing as something good instead of being in that state of mind where you're constantly questioning yourself and second guessing yourself to say, well, I don't know if this is good or bad. I'm just going to keep going with the flow.
Mhm.
But, you want to make sure you let people know that, hey, you're doing a good job. This is really good. Build that self-esteem. It's only going to help the team in the long run.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You want people to feel really good about themselves. And, we've broken this down into 7 factors. So this week we're talking about that achievement need. It's a real need. People have it. You can help them meet that need and fulfill it. We're going to be talking about influence next week. Then we'll talk about impact. When people have an impact, that it makes a difference, recognition, respect that gets earned, the reward, and ultimately self esteem that comes out of this. These are all ways that you can motivate people without spending money. You just have to
Yes.
be aware of it because these are all motivators. And, they make people want to work harder. It releases what's called organizational energy because that drive, that commitment, that motivation goes up as these needs that we're going to talk about get met. So, this is a way for you to start thinking about how to motivate people without spending money. And I think you should tune in and watch the series.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're here every Wednesday, 3 o'clock Eastern. We have another show. This is episode 1 of how to motivate people without spending money. Achievement. Next week, we're going to do influence. Influence is really important. People want to have influence that fulfills, that sense of that achievement driven culture that you're building in your organization. And that's a very important motivator that's going to help you get people really amped up and ready to do more work.
Yes. Very true.
So, look, we'll see you here next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And remember to subscribe to the People Productive channel or People Productive on LinkedIn. You'll be notified automatically every time there's a new episode here. Every Wednesday we have one. Hope you're enjoying the series. Take care.
Yes. Bye for now.